Let's have a look. Now it must be okay. It must be working. Yep, it is working. Okay, so we can shut this, and hopefully it will start in a second. Just yeah, it's working. Okay, so hello guys, nice to see you. It's 11th of February today, as you can see, and we are continuing our journey to learn Japanese language. So let's quickly recap what we learned yesterday. We were speaking about Hiragana, and today we shall speak about Katakana, I think. And also last time we read two dialects and looked through some words with you. So let's start with Katakana. That will be a problem because Hiragana I almost stopped, but Katakana is I am bad at Katakana, so I will need to learn basically it from the scratch, but it's okay, like we are learning. So Katakana, Hiragana shows represent the same sounds basically, as you can see they are the same but just means. So why do we need to use two of them? So like Katakana is more for foreign words like that, for loan words from different languages, mainly from English of course. So like for example aisu will be ice cream and so on, while Hiragana is more for particle, for like for Japanese words itself. Okay, so we shall start, and we shall start with the first column, some vowels over here. So a, I, u, e, o as usual, and as last time we shall do it in Paint. Okay, so let's start. The first one is a. The first one is a. So for me it looks like an X. It's quite similar. Okay. So E quite close to 1. So X, E, 1. U. So they are close but not that much, and as you can see, so the strokes are like more strict. They are more strict here in Katakana. So I, U. Okay, so it's quite close to 7. By the way, there's a problem because U, Ku, as you can see, Nu, Fu, they are quite close. So there may be a problem in distinguishing them. Wa, U, they're quite close, but we need to memorize it. Okay, then we have A, which is like H but on the side, or if you know Chinese, it's the same as gun, like work in Chinese, so maybe. And O. Okay, so let me try do that. So as tomorrow we shall do it with the help of such incredible app as Paint. Okay, so the first one is A. Oh yeah. Okay, then we have E, which is like Z, like 1. I, U. Then we have U, which is something like that. I, U, A, which is like H on the side. A, I, and O. So O is quite difficult. Is it like this? Yeah, but I need to do it a little bit better like this. Yeah. O. A, I, U, O. And I watched my yesterday translation, so I mistakes during writing, but that's okay, I'm just learning. So A, I, U, O. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Kaki, ku, ka, ko. So here ka and ki quite close. So ka is the same but with this without the stroke over here, and ki without this over here. They will be quite simple. Ku. Ku, let's memorize it as 7 without this stroke over here, so it will be ta. Just ku. And ke, but it's prolonged here, and ko square. Yeah. So ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Okay, let's try that. Okay, we can delete this quickly. So ka is like this. Ka, ki, ku is like 7. Ke is like not really like this. Ke and ko. The strokes are wrong, but so ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Okay, that's fine. And let's quickly review O, because I had some problems with it. Ko. O. Okay, then let's return to sa. It almost the same as sa, but it's in the other way. Sa, she. So this is a smiling face, and as you can see, she and tsu very similar. So she, if you draw a line, it will be close to this line, and in tsu it will be close to the like to the top. So it's a way how you can memorize that, how to distinguish them. So she, like a smiling face. Tsu, it's like running ninja. It's different here. Okay. So then sa is the same as sa, just missing one stroke. So some of them will be similar, like closely related, but mostly not. And so some, she, su, sa, so. So is like she, but with one. And as you can see, so and m roughly the same, very close, but it's the same like this and this, so you can memorize it like that. Okay, let's try some let's make it smaller. Sa, then we have she, which will be like smiling face. Let's look hilarious. She, sa, she, su. Is it this? Yeah. So we have sa and so, which I don't remember. Oh, I remember. So so let's have a look. Yeah. Like this, an angle over here, but I think it's not a big deal. Sa, she, su, sa, so I won't write by my hand mostly. I think it doesn't really matter for me to write like that. Nice. I will mostly read and maybe tap using a smartphone or keyboard. So I don't need to be perfect in that. Okay, and we have done the first 3 columns with you guys, and we are moving to the next one. So we have ta, chi, tsu, ta, to. So ta is like cool, but with this over here, like 7. And maybe if you watched anime Naruto, there was a scene where Jiraiya died, and they thought that it was a 9 because he drew it like this. So they thought it was a 9, but it actually was Katakana from his book, and that's why they like decode the phrase that Jiraiya has left for them. So maybe if you've seen this in anime, please let me know. Very interesting, by the way. Then we have Chi and Ta. So as you can see, Ta is missing here, and for me they are looking like telephone wires, like, you know, these things over here, telephone wires. Yeah, like the wire lines, yeah, telephone line. Actually quite the same, as you can see, quite closely representing it. And to, so I have some association, but I don't want to tell it on YouTube. Maybe you can think it's like a man, like a boy, so maybe you can guess what I'm thinking about. So ta, chi, tsu, teto, ta, chi, tsu, teto. Okay, as always, so ta, and here chi, we have, my god, tsu, te, to, ta, chi, tsu, te, to. And let me check, ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Great, absolutely great. So I thought it would take me more time, to be honest, but as it turned out, not really. Okay, so first 4 are done, and let's move on to the next one, and it will be half of our journey. So the first one is na. How can you memorize it? So the hiragana for na is like this. You just don't trust 2 strokes. Oh my god, sorry. And it will be na. Then ni. So ni is a Japanese for 2. Is Japanese for 2. 2 is 2 strokes. So ni. Then nu. Almost a star, but it's missing this. Very quite close, quite similar. It's actually bad because it's difficult to memorize. But on the other hand, like if you look on the English alphabet, we have this letter and this letter, little the same without, but this stroke over here. So we can understand that. Ne. This Chinese character one more. So actually learning characters helps you like this. So for me it's easy to remember, but for you it something like a tree. You can think of it as a tree. Maybe it will be helpful for you. And no. So no, like the hiragana is this, and we just draw this. So no. So na, ni, nu, ne, no. Okay, so let's try. Na is the same as hiragana, but no, without this part. Ni. We have nu. Oh my god, I forgot. And okay. Forgot nu, ne, and no. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. But as I said, katakana is not that important for me right now. obviously I will use it later, but for now hiragana is more important for me. Okay, so we have looked through the half of it, so let's move on. Ha, he, fu, he, ho. So ha is a character for 8. So the Japanese for 8 is hachi. So this is 8 in Japanese, the same as ha. Here it's quite simple. Here, who, it's the same as ku, but like in other side, closely related to it. He is the same as hiragana, so it's not difficult. And then we have ho, or ho, but this time with 2 strokes. It's actually 3. So ha, he, fu, he, ho. Okay, let's try, because this rule is not that difficult. Okay, ha. I said it's not difficult, but I forgot. Ha, he. Okay, ha will be this. Ho will be this. Who will be this. Ha, he, hu, he, ho. He. Oh my god, this was so simple. Here. Okay, let's write once more. Ha, he, hu, he, ho. He is the same, and then we have ho. And then we have ho. Okay, right, that will do. Okay, roof, and we're almost at the end. So ma, mi, mu, me, mo. So here ma and mu. So you can memorize it as a triangular, but like they are facing in another way. It's like on the top, it's like on the bottom. Mo is the same as mo, quite the same. Me, like a sword, and me, 3 strokes. Ma, mi, mu, me, mo. Oh, let's try. So ma, mi, mo. Mo will be like this, and ma, mi, mu, me is like a sword. Yeah. Me is like a sword. That's why I need to memorize by associations. It will be much helpful. But more, it's great, but why have I written 2 or 3 strokes? Just 2. Okay, so like this, more, and me. Okay, the next one is only 3. So the first one is ya, which is the same as ya, but without the stroke. Hiragana ya, you can think of it as or like a U-boat, like U-boat over here. So U and E, but that is facing into in another side. Yeah, okay. Well, actually, it's not so difficult. Yeah, U, just 3. Okay, great. Okay. Then we have ra, ri, ru, re, ro. Ra. So here you need just to memorize. I don't know any associations with ra. Just memorize it. Re. It's the same as re. As you can see, it's the same. Ru. It's like legs of a person. So if you continue it, it will be a person. Yeah. Ru is a person. Re is only one leg. It's missing one leg. And ro is basically a square. Basically a square. Ra, ri, ru, re, ro. Oh, and it looks like a character for mouse, well, which is this. It's character for mouse. So I think maybe that is it. Because if you don't know those, so Hiragana and Katakana originated from characters. That's why it might be helpful for you. Okay, ra, ri, ru, re, ro. Okay, let's shut this. Ra, ri is the same. Ri, ru, two legs, and ro, just a square. Just a square. Okay, and we are at the very end of Katakana. So two wa and wo and n. Wa and wo, n. So wa is the same as u without this over here, because it's like up, and wo, just o, is like a comb. It's like a comb, like a boomerang. N is like this. Okay, so I think it's safe to say. Was it? No, it wasn't. Sorry. Yeah, great. We have done this, so we have moved through all Hiragana Katakana. Of course, we shall return to it because I'm not 100% confident with that, and it will take much time for me to read it, like if I'm not prepared. But other than that, it's okay. So let's return. Let me see. It's 20 minutes actually. I did it so fast. I didn't expect it to happen. So I looked through Hiragana much more times than I did through Katakana, which is quite interesting. Okay, we are moving forward to the next thing. So last time we were speaking about, we read two dialects with you guys, and look through words. We are continuing through this book. Why am I using a book? It's just for me to get like some base, the base vocabulary, and then I can watch some videos. Because if I just watch the video and I don't know any word, like don't know any grammar, it won't be helpful. So let's start. Hopefully you can see it great, and we shall start. So here we can see some katakana, because these are names of countries, and very interesting, some are written in just hiragana. I will explain why. So we have America. So America. Well, it's clear that it's US. Igirisu. By the way, I haven't mentioned, but Dakten, so this scene is actually called Dakten, can be put in katakana as well, in the same as in hiragana. So Igirisu, and it turned out to be Great Britain, Igirisu. But English language is Eigo. So we have O, Sutoraria. So this stroke prolongs the vowel in katakana. It doesn't matter what vowel is it. I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. So we shall check this later, because I forgot those rules. So Raria or Sutoraria. It's clear that it's Australia. Then we have Kangoku. So why is this country written in hiragana? Because it's Korea, and like they have close ties with Korea, because they wasn't connected to Great Britain, to Australia, like before the 19th century, you can say, yeah. So there were no ties, and that's why they don't have a word for that. And then, like, it was late, then they made the word America. Okay, let's move on. Sweden. Sweden. Well, it's Sweden. And Chugoku is China. Chugoku is the same as in Korea. So Korea and China were closely related to. They had like close ties to Japan, so that's why it's like that. Chugoku. By the way, as you can see, Kokugoku, because it's country. Okay, let's move on. Some measures that you can have. By the way, measure will be senko. Senko wa nan desu ka? Watashi no senko wa kagaku desu. Like, for example, if you are studying science, then you can say that your major is kagaku. Watashi no senko wa kagaku desu. Asia Kenkyu, Asian studies. So basically, this is my major, basically. Watashi no senko wa Asia Kazai is economic. Actually, in that way, so I have a friend, and his surname is right. He's quite sayful person. Okay, so then we have Kokusai Kanka, international relations. Computer. Oh, I won't learn those words, all of that. Right? Hopefully I will need Kazai, so economics. I think it will be Asia Kenku. It's quite simple. Jinruikaku, Gaku, Daigaku. So Gaku must mean like science, something like that. Teach, learn, I guess. Seiji. Sorry, my throat is. Seiji, which means politics. Seiji. So Kezai and Soshite Seiji. PG Nesu. Business. Quite clear. Funkaku. Sorry, not Fu, but Punkaku. Lipuche Punkaku. Rekishi. History. So for me, I think Bungaku, Rekishi, then Seiji, Kezai, Asia Kenkaku. Kenkyo is also quite important. We can learn that. Okay, there are some occupations. We can skip it for now. Let's read a little about grammar. So X, Y, des. So by the way, this particle over here is pronounced wa. Hiragana, it is pronounced like ha, but if it's a particle, it will be wa. Even though they have a hiragana wa, they use this one. So it's weird to know. So this thing, what is it? Basically, this is the structure it is. So how do you say it? You put des at the very end of the sentence each time, and you say that something wa something. So x wa y, x wa y des. So Juni Juni handes, like Juni, Juniji handes, Juni 10 han, half less it is. So it is half past 12. Juniji, why is it half past 12? Juniji han. This must be a mistake. Juni. Oh, sorry, Juni. Sorry, Juni it's 12. Juniji 12 hour. Gakusu desu. I'm student. So it is clear from the context that you are speaking about yourself. That's why you can skip I. You can say watashi wa gakusu desu. But if it's clear from context, you can just skip it, and they usually skip it. And nihongo desu. So let's read the note. Note that none of those sentences has a subject, like it, I, and my measure, found in the English counterparts. So we don't say it. They don't say it in Japanese. Sentences without subject are very common in Japanese. Japanese speakers usually tend to omit subject whenever they think it's clear to the listener what or who they are referring to. So if it's clear about what we are speaking about, we can just omit the subject. It's not necessary. What are we to do then when it's not clear what is being talked about? To make clear talking about, we can say wa nihongo desu. So if we subject, then it adds the particle wa. So like Japanese language, senko wa nihon desu, like major is, where like this stands for the thing that is talked about, or the topic which is later in the sentence identified as nihongo. For example, senko wa nihongo desu. No, as I said. So I don't prepare anything before the lesson, so don't think that I do it before. I just knew it before, so I'm just reviewing. Senko, special measure. Wa is nihongo, Japanese language. Similarly, one can put the pattern x wa y desu to identify a person of a thing x as the item y. So watashi wa sukimu desu. Let's try to say our name. Watashi wa Dima desu. Yamashita-san wa sensei desu. Yamashita-san is teacher. Meari-san wa America Jin desu. So Mari-san is American. Or son, we can skip, like Miss Mary. Wa is a member of a class of words called particles. As I said, so is the word no, which will turn to later in the lesson. I have spoken about this no, hiragana no. Particles attach themselves to phrases and indicate how the phrase relates to the rest of sentences. Okay, so note also that nouns like gakusu and sensei in the above examples stand alone, unlike the English translation student and teacher, which are preceded by a. In Japanese, there is no item that corresponds to a, nor is there any item that corresponds to plural s at the end of the noun. So they don't have articles. Okay, without background situation, a sentence like gakusu desu is therefore ambiguous between the singular and the plural interpretation. Okay, it's the same in Chinese actually. They don't have like plural. They can add like a word after, like a particle after the word to represent the plural, but they usually don't do that. So you just need to understand from the situation. So if you speak in general, you usually speak about plural, and if you speak about particular person, it will be a singular. Well, we can understand that from situation. So it's not actually a big deal if you think about it. Okay, question sentence. Okay, sentences. I have said about that before. We just add particle ka at the very end of the sentence. Ryugakusu desu. So it's firm. Ryugakusu desu. and you can say ryugakuse desu ka, ryugakuse desu ka, just question, add question, particles variant ka. So are you an international student? So it's quite simple, and as you can see, you don't add a subject because it's clear that someone is asking you. Why would you ask? Why do you add a subject? Okay, the above sentence ryugakuse desu ka is just no question. Well, it's clear because watashi wa ryugakuse desu ka desu. Watashi wa, so we can just answer yes or not. Question sentence may also contain question word like nan. So nani. In the lesson, we learn how to ask and answer question using the following question words: nanji, nansai, nanse, nanensa, senko wa nan desu ka, senko wa nan desu ka. So if you want to make a special question, you also need to add word nan or nani, but you also need to add ka. So senko wa nan desu ka, senko wa nihonko desu, senko wa go desu. My major is English. By the way, you can skip it because it will be clear from the questions that you are speaking about your major. So you can skip, just say go desu. Okay, so what is here? It's not compulsory to write a question mark, as I said it, they don't put question mark at the very end of the sentence. The Japanese question word for what has two pronunciations, nan and nani. Nan is used immediately before desu or before a count, like the other form nani is used before a particle. Nani is used before the particle. Nani is also used in the combination nani jin. So this you need to memorize: nani before the particle and nani jin, what's your nationality. Okay, let's read the next examples. Ima, now. Nanji desu ka? What time is it now? Ima 9 desu. 9 desu. Ima 9 desu. Mary-san wa nansai desu ka? How old is Mary? 19 歳です。19 years old. 19歳です。何年生ですか? So what are you? What year you are? 2年生です。年生 year 2年生です。So if you want to say like third year student, you will say 3年生です。First year student 1年生です and so on. So then, what's your telephone number? 電話番号は何ですか? 電話番号 So 電話 phone 番号 number は is 何ですか? 電話番号は何ですか? And by the way, this particle no. 186の7343です。Okay, that is it. So then the next grammar point in this lesson, number 1, noun 1, no noun 2. So let's read about that. Just a second, I will check what time is it. Okay, 40 minutes. No is a particle that connects two nouns. The phrase Sakura Daigaku no Gakusei means student at Sakura University. So not that difficult. The second noun Gakusei provides the main idea. Yeah, so we put the main idea, what you want to say, after no, and like describe it in the first. using the first noun. Being, you can also not just use noun, you can just use a phrase. You can say being a student. And the first, Sakura Daigakusu, as you can see, two nouns makes it more specific, like not a high school but a college student. No is very versatile. In the first example below, it acts like the possessive in English, but it's not only the role no can play. See how it connects to nouns in the following examples. So it can be can show possessiveness, but it can also show something else. Let's have a look. Takeshi-san no denwa bango. So denwa bango, phone number, and we want to be more specific, and we want to say that it's phone number of Takeshi-san. So we say Takeshi-san no denwa bango. Daigaku no sensei, so teacher from university, college professor. Nihongo no gakusei, student of the Japanese language. Chugoku no gakusei desu, so I am student of Chinese language. Nihongo no daigaku, university in Japan, college in Japan. Observe that in the first two examples, the English and Japanese words are arranged in the same order, while in the last two they are in the opposite order. Japanese seems to be more consistent in arranging ideas here. The main idea always comes at the end, with any further description placed before it. Well, so it's always the same. What is great about learning like Japanese and other Asian languages, I think that like they are more logical, because there are more construction in them and you just need to follow them. But it's my idea, maybe I'm wrong. So for main idea, and in the first part you describe it, further restriction. A phrase of the form noun acts more or less like one big noun. You can put it wherever you can put a noun, as in the following example. So basically this construction will be like a noun in a sentence. That's very important because of our word order in sentence. So Takeshi-san no okasan wa koko no sensei desu. So mother of Takeshi-san is teacher of university, university teacher, you can say. Well, let's say watashi no okasan wa kyoko no sensei desu. Okay, Japanese name. I think it's not that important to know. Well, of course I know that they use kanji to write names, and this name is very common. It's so common that even in my Chinese textbooks, in the dialects, we have a Japanese person and her name is Tianjun, or like Tanaka in Japanese. By the way, this mean field and this mean middle the field, rice field. Okay, I will skip names, it's not very interesting for me, as I think. Okay, let's read some expression notes, this is more interesting. So ano indicates that you have some reservation about saying what you are going to say next. You may be worried about interrupting something someone is currently doing or sounding rude. Oh my god, so it's not just you don't know what to say, but like you want to indicate that you want to speak. Very interesting, by the way. Ano, hi, both they mean yes, and let's respond to yes no question. Compared to hi, a is more controversial and relaxed. It's more informal. More is used. Hi is also used to respond to knock at the door. Here and for Sumisu-san, hi. I see. So hi is more formal. Okay. So desu ka? It's so. that I know pronunciation of particle ha, or like ha, but it will be pronounced as wa. So the particle wa is pronounced wa, not ha. It should be written as a hiragana ha, but all other instances, like in other examples, if you hear wa, you will write hiragana wa. But there are some exceptions, like some words that you need just to memorize. So watashi, not you don't spell it with hiragana ha. Watashi no tenwa bango wa 378667 desu. My phone number is the following. There are some exceptions, such as konnichiwa and konbanwa. As I said, they're usually written with konnichiwa and konbanwa. So that's just two examples. Good afternoon, good evening. You can remember them. Don't that difficult. Numbers. Many number of words have more than one pronunciation. Okay, that's quite important. I haven't memorized all of it yet. Refer to the table at the end of this book for general picture. Okay, we shall later do that. So 0 can be 0 and rei, both commonly used. Well, 0 is easier, definitely is. Ichi, but also pronounced as ipon, ipun, and isai. By the way, this tsu indicates that we pronounce the following consonant, probably ni all the time when you're reading, when it's long vowel ni. When you give a number, you can say ni, like pronounce it. Sun all the time, sun, pun, sun, fun. All the following about the word. So 0 sushte rei, ichi, but we just prolong. Yun in the most basic but four-year student is yo, just yo nense, not yon, yo nense, and 4 o'clock is yoji. So four-year student won't be that common, but yoji, I think that's important to learn. Yoji, 4 o'clock, not yonji. In some combinations, I will learn that it's read as ji, or she, as in shigatsu, April. The part that follows this number may change shape to as in yonpun. Well, okay, that's we can remember. So yon, but sometimes as 4 o'clock it will be yo, and in April it will be okay, it's shigatsu. Go all the time when you read I pronounce as go. Roku, but pronounce ro as ro pun. Here you just keep it 2 minutes, ro pun, or if it's minutes I forgot what is that. Nana, it's nana, but 7 o'clock is hachiji, shichiji, but usually nana. Hachi pronounced as hapun, and hasai, we don't pronounce the all. Q, but 9 o'clock is kuchi. Ju is pronounced as ju or ji, and jipun and jipun. What's the difference? Jupun, jipun. So we can say Jupun, and you can also say Jipun, and you can also say Jisai, Jusai. Okay, I think that we will get with that later. Okay, so just a second. I got someone who's watching. It's 51 minutes. Okay, let's also that we shall read tomorrow. Let's leave it for tomorrow, and let's quickly look through the numbers. Not re, but re. It's we are prolonging it. So I was reading this as re. 0, re, 0, re, ni, san, yon, そして shi, go, roku, nana, shichi, shichiji, yoji, shigaku, shigatsu, April, shigatsu, hachi, kyu, そして ku, kuji, ju, juichi, juni, so you just add ju plus ichi, juichi, juni, jusan, juyon, and you can say jushi. I like juyon more. Maybe there's a difference, and probably there's a difference. Jugo, juroku, junana, そして jushichi. I probably understand what is the difference. Like it's probably if it's minutes or hours, something like that. Juhachi, jukyu, juku, nichu, sanju. So 20, 30, 40. You firstly say number, add ju. Goju will be 50. Rokuju will be 60. Nanaju, hachiju, kyuju, and 100 will be hyako. Okay, so let's try to read the following numbers. Go. Yep. We have Q. If it's an hour, it will be ku. Nana. But if it's clock, it will be shichi. Ichi, chu, hachi, ni. Yeah. Roku, yon, そして yo, そして shi. Some. Read the following numbers. Okay, so it will be, by the way, 40, is it? Yon, it's yon. Yonjugo, Hachiju-san, Jukyu, Jukyu, yeah, that's right, Jukyu, Nanaroku, Nanajuroku, yeah, Nanajuroku, Goju ni, Hyaku, Hyaku, Sanju hachi, Rokuju ichi, Naju yon, Kyuju nana. Okay, so great. That I will leave for tomorrow. Time I will leave for tomorrow. Great. We worked quite good today. We looked through the hiragana, katakana, or just katakana, sorry, and words like numbers and some specialties, and we read some rules of grammar, so actually quite a lot. Okay, so actually I'm dying right now. My throat is aching because I had some classes before, classes of Chinese today, but I don't have time to do translation later today because I have some more classes later today. That's why I'm doing it right now. So thank you for people who will watch that later. And well, as always, you can write something in the comments if you watch this. Maybe you want to improve the quality of the video and like give me the advice, piece of advice. I'm open for that. and thank you for your time. So goodbye everyone.